Welcome to SuQuietSleep. I'm so glad you are here. Before we begin our tonight's story, find a comfortable position. Let your body settle into the surface beneath you. Your shoulders can soften now. If there is any tension in your jaw, let it release. Soften the small muscles around your eyes and brow. Let your hands rest gently and easily. If your eyes are not already closed, allow them to close now. Take a slow breath in through your nose, filling your lungs, and breathe out through your mouth. And again, breathe in and breathe out. Let your shoulders drop a little more and allow your whole body to grow heavier and supported. With each slow breath, the sounds of your day begin to fade slowly into the background. In their place, a gentle mist begins to rise. A quiet bridge between now and then. And as tonight's story begins, imagine yourself stepping lightly through the mist, leaving the present behind, and drifting into another time. A slower, quieter world. Tonight, we step quietly into a small room in a quiet eastern ward of Chang'an, nearly 1,300 years ago, in the height of the Tang Dynasty. Inside the room, an elderly weaver sits at her wooden loom. Early summer rain gathers along the deep roof tiles. It falls from the eave in a steady sheet. The rain begins before dusk, fast as scattered drops, then as a steady fall that settles over the lane and does not lift. By evening, water runs from every edge of the roof. Outside, the ward is quiet. Doors are closed. Paper windows dim one by one. Inside her loom room, the air is warm enough for hands to stay loose. A small brazier sits near her feet. White ash around orange coals. The room smells of heated clay. Threads stretch across the loom in patient lines. Pale green beside faded blue. She places a folded cloth beneath the white flags. Her fingers find the wick. The flame lowers, only a little, not bright, just enough to see the edge of the cloth. Beyond the doorway, the water keeps falling from the eaves. She sits on the low stool she has used for years. The wood polish where her hands often rest between motions. Her back is straight, but unrestrained. Her shoulders settle the way they always do once work begins. The loom stands before her like an old companion, worn smooth at the edges, faint marks from earlier weaving still visible near the frame. She lifts the facet of threads. She guides the shuttle through, draws the thread into place with a quiet pull. Then pause to hear the room return to balance. Rain at the eaves. A low hiss from the lamp. A soft creak underfoot. The loom answering softly. She repeats the pattern without counting. Lift, thread. Pass, shuttle. Draw, tight. And rest. Each pass adds a narrow line to the cloth that gathers slowly at the beam. The storm outside may be heavy, but the rhythm inside stays even. Once she returns the shuttle back in her palm, its wood holds a mild warmth from her hand. She sends it through once more. The silk accepts the path. The loom answers in a low familiar tone. And the water beyond the doorway falls in the same unbroken way. As night settles deeper, the sounds from the lane thin. Earlier, someone crosses the passage with quick steps, sandals tapping the stone. Then, even that is gone. Now, there is only rain at the eaves and a hollow drop somewhere in the courtyard. She walks with smaller movement than in her younger years. Her hands no longer rush ahead of each other. One hand lifts the threads. The other sends the shuttle through. Both hands draw and settle the line of silk. The motions are careful and light. At intervals, she reaches for the cloth and presses 2 fingers along its surface. The fabric is smooth beneath her touch. No snag, no loosened threads. The humid air has softened the fibers tonight, and the threads holds without complaint. The night does not ask for speed. It asks for steadiness. She listens again. Rain falling from the eaves. The shuttle crossing the silk. The loom answering softly. Then the sequence returns, gentle as breath, as the cloth lengthens by another measured line. After many quiet rounds, she puts the shuttle down and rises, not from fatigue, but to let her legs ease. She walks to the doorway and stands beneath the overhang where the rain falls just beyond reach. Water falls steadily from the tile edge. Potted plant near the basin bends under the weight of water, then lifts a little when the drops slide free. She places her palm on the doorframe. The wood is cool near the outer edge, warm nearer the room. Moist air touches her face. Behind her, the lamp keeps a quiet circle on the loom bench, while the brazier gives off a low dry heat around her ankles. She does not step out. She only watches the falling water until the night settles. Still, rain and wood and dim light. Then she turns back, sits again, lifts the threads with the same patient hand, bringing the shuttle across as softly as before. She pours a small amount of water from the kettle into a clay cup, swirls it once, and empties it into a small bowl by the brazier. The cup warms quickly. Then she pours again and lets the steam rise straight from a breath before it curls towards the lamp. The tea is plain and light. No extra flavor. No ceremony beyond heat and quiet. She drinks slowly while listening to rain at the eaves. When the cup is set down, her hand rests on the edge of the loom, where the woven finish has thinned. Her fingers trace the familiar grooves in the wood. The thread is lifted. The shuttle passes through silk. The thread is drawn into place, followed by a brief pause as the loom answers softly. She walks for several cycles. The flame leans slightly. Her fingers ease the wick a little lower. Light softens, warmer now. Less bright at the corners of the room. The cloth in progress takes on a muted sheen pale as frozen moonlight. Outside, the rain holds steady. Inside, the loop returns. Lift thread. Pass shuttle. Draw tight. And rest. The motions repeat with quiet care until the room itself seems to move at that pace. The middle of the night comes without announcement. No sudden change. Only deeper shadow near the rafters and a slower, heavier sound in the rain. The eaves continue to pour, but the drops from the far corner gutter become farther apart, as if the storm is learning a gentler rhythm. She stops for a listening pause and keeps her hands lightly on the loom frame. Somewhere beyond the ward wall, a distant wooden signal sounds once, then fades. She waits until silence settles again, then resumes with smaller motions. Now, each pass of the shuttle feels quieter because she allows more space between actions. She lets each row settle into the cloth before beginning the next. The thread straightens under her fingers like the line of water finding its level. The brazier's heat is mild now. Her hand rests near it for a moment. Still warm. No need to feed it yet. Rain at the eaves. Water slipping down from the roof. The loom answering softly. while night moves forward in quiet increments. By the time she checks the cloth again, it has grown enough to need adjusting. She loosens the holes, rolls it forward, adjusts it slowly until it feels right. Deeper wooden tone as everything settles into place. She smooths the fresh section with her palm, tracing where pale blue meets soft green. In the low lamp, the colors do not shine brightly. They rest. She reaches for the shuttle and resumes. Lift, thread. Shuttle through silk. Draw and settle. And pause. A tiny drip finds its way in from the doorway and lands near the leg of her stool. She shifts the stool back by a finger's width, enough to keep the hem of her robe dry. Then the sequence continues without interruption. The rain outside grows heavier for a short time, blurring the courtyard, trusting the sound to tell her what changes. After a while, the fall lightens again. The cloth grows line by line. The loom answers softly each time a line settles into place. And the night holds steady around her. In the quietest hour, even when the rain seems to speak more softly, she rises once more and eases the door half closed. The rain still falls outside, but the room keeps more warmth now. She returns to her seat and places both hands on the loom before moving again. Her breathing matches the work. Not instructed, simply natural. One motion, one pause, a pace that allows listening between lines. A thread near the edge has risen with the moisture. A dampened fingertip, a light touch, and it settles again. Water moves slowly down the wall outside, catching the light, then letting it go. Drop by drop, thread by thread. All things in the room and outside, it seemed to follow the same patient law. The shuttle passes through. The cloth tightens. The loom answers softly. Rain moves along the roof and down the eaves in its unbroken fall. She finishes one final full cycle before stopping. She does not end mid-motion. She prefers a complete line as a quiet boundary. The thread settles into place. The shuttle rests where it belongs. The loom is left as it is for morning. At the brazier, she spreads ash over the remaining glow until only a faint warmth remains. The lamp wick is eased a little lower, and the room settles into a softer amber, enough to see the doorway, the stool, and the folded tools. Outside, the rain has thinned, but not stopped. Now falling in finer lines. She stands at the doorway and listens to the last deeper drops from the far corner of the roof. No voices in the lane. No footsteps in the passage. Only rain, timber, stone, and the quiet room behind her. She returns to the loom and touches the frame with her fingertips. A brief, familiar gesture that sits once more for a few light passes. Just enough for the rhythm to continue into the next stillness. There is almost no need for action now. Yet, she keeps the smallest loop alive. She lifts a thread group. The shuttle crosses. She draws the line into place with barely any force. And the loom gives back a soft answer, lower than before. The room holds to 3 gentle anchors. Warmth from fading coals. Silk under steady fingers. Rain at the eaves. She lets the pauses grow wider. The sound returns to the same places again and again. Soft, even, and change. The lamp flame narrows as oil settles lower, but it remains steady. Shadows along the wall barely move. The cloth at the beam looks smooth and complete in the dim circle of light. She makes one final gentle pass of the shuttle, draws the last line into place, and rests both hands on the loom. not silence at once, more like a river slowing before it widens. Outside, the rain continues in finer threads. Inside, the loom holds the memory of her hands. The room stays warm, safe, and still within the quiet of the night. The threads remaining. The loom holding its quiet shape, while rain continues along the eaves and the room stays warm. Everything settling quietly with nothing more needed. The world we visited tonight is quiet now, and you are here again, in the comfort of your room. Your mind can rest. Your body can relax. If you are already drifting into sleep, allow yourself to sink deeper. If you are still awake, simply listen to the quiet. Thank you for joining me at SuQuietSleep. I'll be here again soon to share another peaceful moment in time. But for now, sleep well. Good night.